Beautiful.
Hi, Steve.
Hi.
Hi, this is Steve Budge. Introduce yourself, please, if you don't mind.
I'm Steve Budge, and I'm teach Spanish here at Mesa Community College, Spanish faculty, and I've been teaching online since 1999 when I developed our first Spanish 101 online class. So, and then ever since I've been teaching and developing.
And you're the chair of
and
the
I'm
World
also
Languages.
the chair of the World Languages Department.
And what languages are offered here at Mesa?
We offer 14.
14, wow.
Latin, Greek, and let me see if I remember them all. Latin, Ancient Greek, Chinese, Russian, Arabic, French, Spanish, Portuguese, missing a romance. German,
yeah.
Italian. Did I say Arabic?
No.
Japanese, Chinese. I think that Hebrew.
Hebrew.
That covers.
Wow.
Yep.
And of those 14,
Biblical Hebrew.
how many of those are offered online?
American Sign Language. We forgot
American
that one.
Sign Language.
How many are online? So we have Spanish online,
Mm-hmm.
we have Japanese online, and we have one American Sign Language course that we piloted online.
Okay.
So that's what we offer.
And then not only do you just do full online, you do hybrid as well.
We have hybrid courses in Japanese, Spanish, and American Sign Language.
Okay. And how come more aren't offered in the other languages?
Spanish, for example, we have residential faculty, so they have more development time,
Mm-hmm.
whereas although we do support our adjunct faculty in developing classes, it's just typically an adjunct faculty has another job and it's difficult for them to find time. Although we do have a couple of adjunct faculty that are currently working on developing hybrid and online, so we're trying to expand as much as we can.
Good. So so you started teaching with technology in 1999. That was when your first course. And so from 1999 to 2012, how do you feel technology has changed your ideas about teaching Spanish, teaching languages? How has it, where do you think, I mean, that's a big question, but like, what is your relationship with that and how do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, there's different stages of change. So if I can accurately describe the best that I can. So in 1999, about then there's not a lot of audio tools, for example, to record voice, recording tools, video tools, not really. There is really in an infant stage there. The internet, been out a handful of years, and so the technology like Flash wasn't a big back then, so it was for the most part a lot of web pages. That's what you did, and then soon after that, then some tools started coming out, for video and audio, and they became more and more robust, and then also Flash and some other programming that you could expand more what you could do. And then, of course, late 2008, 9, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, what the biggest change has been the cloud. Cloud computing has changed what we do, because now with the handhelds and cloud computing, you can have access to your course, anywhere. And you could before, but almost anywhere, but you needed to make sure you had connection. But now that everybody has connection via satellite with Verizon, for example, and when you have handhelds and devices, and so you have students have a tablet now. A lot of students have tablets and cell phone and a computer, and so they have access whenever, wherever, and a lot of the students really do the activities on their cell phone. I watch them all the time.
Do you encourage that in the classroom? Like, say, okay, this is an open classroom, you can use your handheld, you can use your cell phone, you can use your tablet, and you can use your computer. What sort of like boundaries or guidelines or rules do you set in the physical classroom with those tools?
I don't allow cell phones, like for example texting. Now if they're if they forgot their book, they just need to let me know, hey, I've got my cell phone, I'm looking at my book, my ebook right now, pulling it up. Okay, great. Then we allow that. And a lot of students do that. bring their tablet, their laptop. They're allowed to
You're
bring
okay with
electronic devices as long as it's related to what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, they can't. They
Yeah.
can't have it out. So the student has their tablet there and they're browsing CNN or Fox News or whatever. No, we need to focus on reading their email. No, we need to focus on Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of students come up and say, hey, I was doing this activity online. Here it is right here. And they show their handheld. I say, here's the
On the
activity.
phone.
What
Isn't
did
that
I do
amazing?
wrong?
Yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did this wrong. Things have changed greatly. So in the online world, if you have internet-based classes, solely internet, the students are using their cell phones when they're on the plane, the train, in the car,
Mm-hmm.
to do their homework and listen to some of the activities. It's amazing.
Do you foresee, what is your feelings about the physical printed textbook with all of these digital versions?
I don't think that's ever going to completely go away because a lot of people like to have things on hand. They do. They prefer to read it on paper. And I know that there's some people, for example, that have eye issues and they can't spend a lot of time on the handhelds or the tablets. Especially the older students that, as you get older, you need reading glasses, and that can inhibit some things. I experienced that myself. I can't spend too much on the handheld. I need to go to the computer.
Yeah.
Or I'll pull up a piece of paper if I need to. So I think, I don't think completely.
There's always a place for that.
I think there's always a place for that. That's my personal opinion.
So,
I think we're just changing our approach a little bit.
how we interact with
Right.
them. Yeah.
And I'm hoping that pretty soon the technology will be the point. I know it will be. Everybody just needs to be on board that everything works most of the time or almost all the time on any device. Because right now you still have some limitations with cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do certain things in certain classes or certain platforms. So, but I think that's going to change, and we're not very far off.
Talk to me about what you think, if you think there are any outcome differences between results, or what's a better way to describe, outcomes between face-to-face classes, hybrid classes, or full distance classes. Do you think learner outcomes are the same, different?
Good question. Our department is embarking on a new project. It's a college-wide initiative called Informed Improvement. And what it is it's collecting data and storing it in a repository where anybody can access it across campus, the data that they need. So, we're focusing on better advisement and helping our students to be more successful. Persistence, retention, those kind of things. So what we're doing is we have a cohort of students, first entry level, Spanish 101, which is our first semester entry level, beginning level class. And we have a cohort, we're going to have a cohort of about 80 to 100 students. And they're in online, hybrid, and face-to-face. Same instructor. And so all of our assessments are going to be the same. We're going to do a survey at the beginning, so that a self-identifying survey. Tell us where they're from, what their experience with the language is, et cetera, et cetera. But a bunch of different factors. And so we're going to find out about them and their experience with the language. Then they're going to take the class. We're going to assess them. We're going to do formative assessments. And use that as part of the data, and we're going to find out what the outcomes are, or how their success.
Exciting. So has this
begun?
So
the answer to that question is I could tell you anecdotally, but
okay.
I can't because.
Well, has the project for this begun yet? This research, or it's
Well,
just
we've just finished developing the measurement for that survey, and then we're going to finish developing a rubric for the oral formative assessments and the written formative assessments. So it will start in January. So now I can tell you some other numbers that we already know.
Okay.
We know that retention in online classes is lower. We're about 50% or so. depending on the class. But overall, we're about right around 50% is the retention rate. So
why do you think?
if online, I think a lot has to do with technology. Or let me put it this way: how to learn using technology. Or maybe the better word is, it's self-paced a lot, and you have to be self-directed. So you have deadlines, and you need to get so much done within a week period, for example, and they have to follow that's a different approach to learning for them and managing their time. A lot of these students, and many students out of high school, are not prepared for that type of learning. Some do really well, others don't do as well. I think that is the biggest factor in online learning. I don't think necessarily it's the content. I believe it's the structure of an online class. Students do a little bit better in hybrid and a little bit better in face-to-face. Well, let me put it this way, a lot better in face-to-face. I think our retentions in face-to-face are about 70%, roughly.
Have you found the retention level for online being pretty much steady in the last 5 years, or going down in the sense that we're getting learners who are more used to online deliveries and online modes, being those digital natives, and they know this is how to operate, or is that still pretty consistent at
It's
the
pretty
retention
consistent.
level?
The retention level since 1999, I had the same one. 50%, it's still about 50%
It's still
up.
that, yeah.
It might be a little bit up,
Yeah.
but really not significantly.
Yeah.
So retention levels. So as it relates to retention and persistence, we've got a ways to go. And I think that's nationally it's the same way. I think retention rates are between 50 and 60% for online classes nationally, if I'm not mistaken. I just looked at some. It's been a while since I looked. It's been about a year, but if I'm not mistaken, that is about right. And that's pretty much across the board. Every once in a while, we'll have an anomaly. So, for example, we had one class over the summer. The retention was excellent in an online Spanish class. Now, granted, it was a higher level class, and students had already been through the first. So those been through the first couple of classes. So the retentions are going to be naturally higher in the higher levels because they've already been through it. They know what to expect, and they got there. They made it through the first two. Well, they made it for the first two, so that means they're probably going to be succeed in the subsequent classes or